Hello and welcome to Easy Gluten Free. Today I'm going to show you how to make gnocchi, but not the regular potato gnocchi, which are delicious, but I think everyone knows how to make already. Or maybe you don't. If you need a tutorial, let me know. These are ricotta gnocchi. They're light and delicious. I think you're going to love them. So let's roll this one out. I'm pretty hungry. Now gnocchi are delicious, light little pillowy dumplings that are usually made with potatoes, and I'll do a video on that version soon. But in these lighter and I think more special gnocchi, the potatoes are replaced with ricotta as the main ingredient. So we'll start there. I've got 2 cups or 500 grams of whole milk ricotta, and I've found that a drier variety enables you to use less flour, and that means a lighter, less dense gnocchi in the end. And I like to put it into a bowl on top of a few folded paper towels to dry out even more while I gather the rest of the ingredients. You'll need 1 1/4 to 2 1/2 cups of all-purpose flour, but since I'm gluten-free, I'm prepping 2 1/2 cups of corn flour or masa harina, not cornstarch, and to that non-glutinous flour I'm stirring in 1 1/2 teaspoons of xanthan gum. And the gum's going to act as the glue and keep the gnocchi from falling apart. Now to the drained ricotta, add 1/8 teaspoon of black pepper, 1/2 cup of grated pecorino romano cheese, and 1 egg plus a yolk. Then mix it all together until you have a well-combined homogeneous mixture. Now you can start stirring in the flour. And I can't give you an exact measurement on this because it depends on how much moisture is in the ricotta, the humidity in the flour, the humidity in the room itself. I think you get the picture. So start out by adding 3/4 cup of flour and keep adding by 1/4 cup measures until you've got a workable dough that's roughly the consistency of cold mashed potatoes. Turn the dough out onto a floured surface and knead it a few times to bring it all together into a large log, then divide it into 6 pieces. Now on a floured surface with floured hands, roll each piece into a long rope about 3/4 inch in diameter. If the rope gets too long or you start to see a weak spot, break the rope and work in smaller sections, but try to maintain the same diameter throughout. Now cut your long ropes into pieces less than 1 inch long, and you could cut several ropes together to save time if you want. Now using a gnocchi board, which is like a wooden paddle with ridges, or a fork, we're going to roll them to get the customary ridges on one side and divot on the other. And most people I've seen, and my mother might have done them like this too, lay them down on the board like this with the cut side parallel to the ridges. But I like to dip one cut edge into the bench flour so it doesn't stick, and lay that floured end onto my gnocchi board, depress the center with my thumb, then gently roll it off the board, or fork if you're using a fork. Now when you're depressing the gnocchi, it's important not to press too hard. You don't want the centers being pressed far beneath a 1/2 inch thickness, or these very delicate gnocchi might fall apart. It can take a little bit of practice to get the feel of rolling gnocchi dough versus a much sturdier cavatelli or orecchiette dough, but you'll get the hang of it. I've been rolling gnocchi for as long as I can remember, and I started out my own daughter when she was 2 or 3, so now she's got almost a decade of experience, and in a pinch, I can leave all the rolling up to her. And as you roll them, place them onto a floured baking sheet, and once you have them all done, cook them in small batches by adding them to a pot of boiling salted water, and in about a minute or so, they'll float, and then they're done. And I like to fish them out with a spider. And at this point you can just serve them in a bowl with some sauce and cheese. But after all that work, I like to make a dish that's a little more elevated. So I sauteed a little pancetta and shallots in a tablespoon or 2 of butter. And this all needs to be done before you drop the gnocchi into the boiling water. And once the gnocchi floats, add it to the pan so it can brown slightly. And be careful because these are far more delicate than other pastas. Toss in about a 1/2 cup of spring peas, add a splash of cream, a little more grated pecorino, and this feast is ready to devour. And you'd pay a fortune for this at a restaurant. So it really pays to make this yourself. And if you don't get it right the first time, try again. The ingredients are cheap enough to screw this up a half dozen times and still come out ahead financially. And if you'd like to print a copy of today's easy gnocchi recipe, you could always visit my blog in the link below. And for brand new recipes every week, and the next video in the series is those lemon ricotta cookies that would go perfect with the gnocchi. Don't forget to subscribe. See you again soon.